Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Since 1972, H&H Auto Parts has provided motorists in the Vernon area with the best auto parts and customer service. Our goal is to offer the best auto parts and customer service available at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. To learn about the superior parts we offer, please contact us by phone 973-827-3459.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Good evening. Welcome to Vernon Vibes. A couple of things that I'd like to speak to you about this evening, but let's start with this past Sunday. The Vernon Historical Society held a stakeholders meeting in what is the first step in developing a plan for the Black Creek Indian Reservation. And it was well attended. As a matter of fact, there was a very nice article in the local daily on the front page dealing with the plan, if you will, for that Indian reservation. Actually, the Black Creek site is only one of 4 in the entire state of New Jersey, and our Historical Society was given a grant to, in fact, develop this plan. It included stakeholders from all walks of life, including the Lenape-Munsee tribes. Their chiefs were there. The archaeologists, represented by some very well-known archaeologists who participated in the actual saving of that area from being bulldozed as part of the Maple Grange playing fields, as well as the superintendent of the Votech school and 2 members of the council, as well as myself, plus citizens and members of the Historical Society. Unfortunately, many of the people who were invited to attend the meeting didn't show. I was somewhat disappointed in the fact that no one from the Vernon Board of Education and or administration saw fit to participate, maybe because it was on a Sunday afternoon. But what's exciting about the meeting that took place is that out of this interpretation plan could come several very, very positive things for Vernon Township and for the Lenape-Munsee people. There is a thought that at the end of this process, we may find ourselves with the potential for a cultural center, an actual international cultural center that would in fact speak to not only the history of the Native Americans that inhabited this area some 10,000 years ago, and up to the interactive period of when the white settlers came to America and impacted on our Native Americans, but also their involvement in eugenics, their involvement in the development of homeopathic medicines. And in fact, I actually learned something that I didn't know. Not that I know everything, but I found it very, very interesting. As a youngster growing up and studying the history of these United States and the interaction with Native Americans, we all learned about the Iroquois and the Dakota and the Cherokee and the Lenape. And interestingly enough, every one of those names of tribes in the native language means the people. I found that really interesting because Native Americans saw each other as one, no matter where they were geographically located. So we are at the beginning of a process, one that may very well develop into something really exciting as an ancillary or an adjacent development of our recreation resort industry, and that being ecotourism as well as historical tourism. As we move forward, we'll keep you posted. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Since 1972, H&H Auto Parts has provided motorists in the Vernon area with the best auto parts and customer service. Our goal is to offer the best auto parts and customer service available at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. To learn about the superior parts we offer, please contact us by phone 973-827-3459.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Welcome back. As is my custom, I like to report to you as to what took place at the council meeting from the evening before. And while there were a couple of resolutions adding new fire personnel to the various volunteer squads, the almost entire 2-hour plus meeting was devoted to public comment on the mayor's salary. And so I think that it would be appropriate to talk a little bit about it with you this evening. For the record, I never requested a $70,000 salary. In developing the budget, I put a line item in the budget of $70,000 for the mayor because the way that this council and mayor's office, which are two separate entities within the government. I think I've said this before, but I want to stress it. I am not a member of the Vernon Town Council. In the form of government that was adopted by the people in 2010, by statute, the council is the legislative branch. The mayor is the chief executive officer, the, if you will, elected town manager in this form of government. And part of the responsibility that is laid out in the state statutes as well as in Vernon Township's administrative code is that it's the mayor's responsibility to develop a budget to be presented to the council for their input and their decision as to whether or not to adopt it. And so, having been a 2-year freeze on the mayor's salary, predicated upon the ballot question that was voted on in 2012, the mayor's salary being frozen 2012-2013, I felt that it was incumbent upon my responsibility to, in fact, put that forward to the council. Now, interestingly enough, immediately the newspapers reported as mayor requests $40,000 raise. I never made that request. I put it in the budget the same way I put other line items in the budget and wanted the council to respond and to react. As far as the ordinance that was brought forward by the council, I never requested that either. As a matter of fact, Council President Brian Lynch did. Now, I'm not objecting to the fact that he did it, but let's set the record straight. It wasn't at my request, although I think that it's a fair number, and I've said so in the past. Based upon the responsibilities of this job, I sat last evening and listened to resident after resident say, our mayor is doing a really good job. Nobody's complaining about the job that the mayor is doing. In fact, even my detractors suggested that, well, maybe we shouldn't increase the salary, but we should give them a bonus. Something that I was criticized for doing with department heads, and as a matter of fact, is the subject of a lawsuit filed by the former mayor and her co-counsel, pro se, Mrs. Van Gorder, wife of the fire marshal who, in fact, was laid off by this mayor when he was not able to accept an offer of a full-time job. And so the fact of the matter is that it seems like people are pleased with the job that we're doing, but it also seems like they don't want to pay for it. I'll leave that all up to them. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Since 1972, H&H Auto Parts has provided motorists in the Vernon area with the best auto parts and customer service. Our goal is to offer the best auto parts and customer service available at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. To learn about the superior parts we offer, please contact us by phone 973-827-3459.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Welcome back. So as I mentioned in the last session, much of what has been reported in the newspaper, the newspapers, okay, really doesn't have a basis in fact as to was it a request, was it not. I want you, the people of Vernon, to understand I was fulfilling my responsibilities under the statutes and the administrative code as it was written and presenting the budget to the council. Let's talk a little bit about history. I heard so many people last evening say, well, you knew that it was $30,000 a year going in, and now you're trying to, make money on us. Let's set the record straight there. No one knew what the salary was going to be for the mayor. And in fact, upon taking office on July 1st of 2011, I did have some suggestions by council members that, Vic, $30,000 is just not enough. And I agreed with them. But I also said, look, until we get into this financial package, this situation in Vernon Township, I'm not comfortable in taking anything but a conservative approach. And so I know over the next 6 months, and this is by way of discussion with council members, that I'm going to have to be constructing the budget for 2012, and we'll have a good handle on where we're at. Just to give you an example, in 2011, I didn't know until taking office that there was $600,000 of responsibility that this township had that was not funded. $600,000. It was like, what? I can't believe it. And it wasn't, in fact, until I got into the budget that I realized that tucked away in the 2011 budget was a line item entitled Salary and Wage Adjustments. And in that line item for 2011 was $68,394. Now, there hadn't been a raise given. As a matter of fact, in the previous year, there was $75,000 in that line item, all of which, except $7,600, was moved to another budget another budget line item late in the year of 2010. So one of two things was going on here. Either this line item was being used to, in fact, inflate or fluff the budget so that people thought that there were salary adjustments being made, or a place to hide money, or maybe it was in anticipation of what the salary might have been had someone else won the election in 2011. I certainly can't speak to what it was, but I can speak to this. Had I known in the first 10 days of July that that money was available, I would have taken the advice of others and made the salary for this full-time job what it needed to be, because I was asked early on by the majority of the council to do what the people at Vernon had asked, and that was replace the town manager. We had 11 years of town managers in this town that were an abject failure. An abject failure. We had one manager that went to jail because he was caught stealing. We had another manager who, in fact, changed our payroll company without any authority from the council, which resulted in a $400,000 loss to this community. Ladies and gentlemen, the people, I believe, when they voted to change the government, wanted someone running this township that had skin in the game, someone who lived here, someone who was a resident, someone who had a history with Vernon, who also had the skills, the knowledge, and the experience to manage this township. I believe they elected me because that's what I brought to the table. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Since 1972, H&H Auto Parts has provided motorists in the Vernon area with the best auto parts and customer service. Our goal is to offer the best auto parts and customer service available at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. To learn about the superior parts we offer, please contact us by phone 973-827-3459.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Welcome back. And so, just to pick up on what we were talking about, it's easy for me to say now, looking back with 2020 hindsight, the money was there, we should have done it originally, and I heard a lot of people say that last evening, but unfortunately, that information was not available to us. And also, we were under a very strict time constraint from the state to complete what people were going to be paid and to develop an administrative code within 90 days of taking office. That administrative code was in fact crafted by a subcommittee of the town council made up of Pat Rizzuto, Dan Kadish, and our municipal attorney, Kevin Kelly. Every single thing that's in that administrative code was crafted by those three gentlemen and presented to the town council. I actually didn't have anything to do with it because it wasn't my purview. It was a legislative activity. And they did it, and I think they did it well, considering the time constraints that we were under. But I do believe, after 2.5 years in this office, that it is time for us as a governing body to revisit that administrative code and, in fact, to address some of the areas that are vague or haven't been addressed. And I'm going to suggest in a meeting with the council in the very near future, that in fact they again create a subcommittee and take a look at some of the specifics that we need to deal with. But nonetheless, okay, that having been done within 90 days of taking office, and my involvement in the budgetary process moving forward for 2012, it became very apparent, okay, that there was money enough to pay a living wage for someone who was doing this job full time, whether it was myself or someone else. And I believe that in 2012, I asked for a reasonable salary, $50,000 per year. The mistake I believe that was made was that I delegated the ordinance writing to then business administrator Jerry Gimes, who came up with an ordinance that included the mayor, the council, and some 33 employees who are non-union in salary ranges. I never thought for a second or for a moment that it would become the issue of an initiative and referendum. Shame on me, I guess. After all the years of politics, you would think that I should have known that there were people out there just waiting to use the new laws of this new government to achieve their goal, which seemed to be to see to it that this mayor did not get a raise. At any rate, I take responsibility for that. But I also have to tell you that throughout 2012, from the point in time that the petition was certified, and from then until the fall of 2012, when the ballot question was voted on, literally dozens of people came to me and said, you know, Vic, I'd support your raise, but I can't support the kinds of raises you're giving to the employees. And I said, what do you mean the kinds of raises that we're giving to the employees? Those are a salary range. They're designed to set the value of a job, the minimums and the maximums. Well, but you know, the question says that, you know, you $15,000 raise for the police chief or whatever. And I said, well, that's a misunderstanding. A salary range is designed as a management tool, and it's one that is recommended by the DCA, but in all of the newspapers and in all of the rhetoric and in all of the discussions that took place throughout 2012, never once did I or any member of the council attempt to influence the people. And I said at that time, I have confidence in the people that they know that I'm doing a good job. I have done it historically for Vernon Township. Again, I guess I'm misreading, but I take responsibility for that. But the fact of the matter was that the misinformation just kept getting repeated and repeated. That was not a salary ordinance. It was a salary range ordinance. The difference is very simple. The ordinance that was approved last evening is a salary ordinance, and it says clearly, the mayor of Vernon Township shall be paid $70,000. It doesn't say the mayor of Vernon Township may obtain a salary between $50,000 and $90,000. That's a salary range. And you will notice that is solely the mayor's salary, because so many people indicated to me in 2012 that they would have supported that salary, but they didn't support the increases for the employees. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Since 1972, H&H Auto Parts has provided motorists in the Vernon area with the best auto parts and customer service. Our goal is to offer the best auto parts and customer service available at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. To learn about the superior parts we offer, please contact us by phone 973-827-3459.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Welcome back. I'm told that as we're filming this session of Vernon Vibes, that there are already people out in front of the Vernon A&P soliciting your signatures on a petition to prevent this salary from being implemented. I would ask each and every one of you to stop and think for a second. Have your property taxes gone down for local purposes? Absolutely. Have your services improved? I would recommend that you take a look at the programs in our community development and recreation, the programs for our senior citizens, the improvement in our senior lunch. I'd ask you to take a look at what we've done in terms of our roads and intersections. In 2.5 years, we have addressed problems that haven't been addressed in almost 15 years, and we now have a financial plan that is, in fact, decreased our debt, increased our cash fund surplus, addressed the issue of loss of value, asset value, assessed value of Vernon Township, and still been able to do what we've done without borrowing money. Now, I've heard my adversaries talk about, oh, it's all borrowed. That's hogwash. Absolutely hogwash. For the 3rd year in a row, the appropriations of Vernon Township's departments are virtually the same. And last evening, I heard one of the council members say, well, the taxes are going up in 2014. Well, they're only going up if the budget is accepted exactly the way that I've presented it. And if that happens, I want you to know that the 1 cent increase we're looking at is to put money away in the sinking fund that we began last year to pay the increased interest on the permanent bonds that were floated prior to our getting here. And that, in fact, the actual amount that Vernon Township is responsible for, Vernon Township taxpayers is responsible for municipal purposes, not being paid by someone else, i.e. the MUA or the Mountain Creek Corporation, has gone down significantly. And so I simply say this to you. If you want good government, you need somebody who knows what they're doing. And if the issue is about what you pay them, not what they're worth, I wonder what we're doing about the future of Vernon Township. I know that you will make the decision, and I will live with it. That's how this system works. I thank you for your support. I thank you for your watching us, and I look forward to more Vernon Vibes as we move forward and I share with you what's going on in Vernon Township. Have a great evening.